everyone, welcome to Coach on Command. My name is Arron Littleton, and I'm the head coach of the Gymnastics Sport Center Storm, two-time AGA Champion, and your host for this hour of excitement and wonder. As you can tell, we've got our normal panel here back. Some of them making weird facial expressions for some reason. I'm not sure why. So we're gonna go down. The panel here. Let them introduce themselves to you, and then we will get the show on the road. I'm scared. What's happening?
I never know what's going on.
The payoff for that was so much better than I thought it was going to be. I got to be honest.
I don't know how to follow that up. I hope my face doesn't get stuck.
So tonight we are going to do something that we've never done here before on COC, and that is we're going to base this whole episode off of an actual question by an actual coach. So earlier today I was perusing a gymnastics forum for gymnastics coaches to get techniques and tips and all that kind of stuff, and I do that from time to time just to see if we can help, if there's any questions that people are asking that we know the answer to, or maybe we've already done a video about, and I can send that to them and hopefully help them on their way doing whatever that they, that they're trying to do. So I ran across this discussion regarding a certain coach's facial expression while on the floor, and basically it goes that the manager of the gym or the owner, and I've had to have these conversations both to me and about me, So the manager of the gym had received a bunch of complaints about this certain coach and their facial expression, and while on the floor, and people were like, "What's wrong with him? He always looks mad. He always, it's like he doesn't look like he wants to be here very, very much." But I thought that this would be the perfect follow-up to the show that we did last week about tone. You're out here and maybe you don't know exactly how you are being perceived by the audience of people that is around you, and so I thought that was really interesting timing given that we had just done that episode, and so we're going to follow that up this week talking about expressions and body language and how they can make you be perceived in a negative manner. And so it's going to be great. We're going to do this, and we're going to help out our younger and less experienced, or maybe older and more experienced coaches too, with how they present themselves while coaching. So first question. What are some of the problems, and there are problems, that you can have with your facial expressions while on the floor that can lead to a negative perception of you, okay? Maybe from the people who are watching you or people who don't know you, people in general, and how can you fix them?
The biggest problem that I've noticed is when your coaches come in sulking. Now, you're allowed to be sad. Sad is a normal thing. Being upset is a normal thing. That's okay. But nobody wants some sad teenager teaching their child. That I wouldn't want a sad teenager teaching my child. You have to leave all of that stuff outside. It's going to be there when you leave. And it's not just with coaching. It's with any job. You can't let your outside life interfere with your work life, and vice versa. You can't let your work life interfere with your actual life.
So I got to agree with Kaegan here. It's best to, I'm not saying that you can't feel emotions, but you need to make sure that whenever especially if you're dealing with other people, you don't let emotions from outside of this environment affect you negatively while you're here. If you're bringing in some positivity and some energy, sure, bring it on in. But I'm not saying don't deal with your problems. Trust me, it stinks, but they'll still be there whenever you leave. But you can't let them affect you here. So deal with it. Just don't lash out and try to deal with it while you're dealing with other people. It just doesn't end well. As to my own point, what I would say, we critique a lot. For us, the details matter. We're calling people out on everything that they're doing wrong. And typically, whenever you're talking about something negative like that that's wrong, your face reflects that. Okay? your attitude, your general posture. If I see someone that's just doing something horribly wrong, maybe I cross my arms, maybe I sigh and think, ugh, that's so bad. Okay, that is not unnatural, but it needs to be contained. Okay, another way that you can fix that is to sometimes focus on the positive. Yeah, we call stuff out, we need to fix things, but it goes a long way to praise things that are good. And often, if you're talking about something you enjoy, you're naturally more optimistic, you're more passionate, you're more opening, and you're more pleasant to be around. And that can reflect with, yeah, we got to fix the bad, sure, but sometimes focus on the positives, and a lot of positive energy can come from that.
I agree. I think the number one problem really is, and some people would say anger. I don't think it's anger so much. I think that the number one problem, especially with younger coaches, is that they look like they're completely indifferent to anything that's going on. They're completely unenthusiastic. Melancholy comes to mind, maybe sleepy. It looks like they are generally disinterested in anything that's going on. And when you're out there, maybe you're not meaning to exude that. Maybe that's not what you're trying to do, but that's just the way you are in your everyday life. You just go around like that, and it just looks like you don't really care about anything. And so when you're dealing with something like this, that becomes a problem where it normally maybe wouldn't be, just as you go about your day. If you're if you're standing like that buying orange juice at Walmart, if you just nobody really cares. But when somebody's paying to bring their child to you to have you teach them something, they want you to be a little bit enthusiastic about it. And so, there's any number of terrible things that people can think of, can think about you when you're doing that. And, it could be like, he looks like he doesn't care. He's just here for the money. This is just a job for him. Or, but the thing to note too is that it makes people like you less. You see somebody on the side of the road just mean mugging everybody. You don't like that guy.
By default.
Right. It's like his instant repulsion, It's like, man, it looks terrible, and so all of those things, being indifferent, all of that is a problem. Being angry is also a problem. Any of those negative emotions are a problem. And so how are you going to fix them? I feel like the best way to do that is to be expressive. Okay, and it's going to feel weird, all right, to be expressive, because most people don't go around, hey, whatever. But when you're working with kids, the more you can get in that direction, the better off the kids like you. You have to have some substance to what you're doing. There's a little bit of showiness that you have to put on. And Mr. Cronin always and famously said, when you're coaching, when you're out here on this floor and the parents are watching you, you're on stage, and it's like, you got to put on a performance.
It's genuinely a performance.
Right. And so even if you don't feel like being like, hey, that was a great role, fantastic, good work, if you don't feel like doing that, that is part of your job. That's part of our vocation. And now when you're working with upper level kids, maybe you don't do, maybe you don't hit the high notes on the super enthusiasm as much as you do with the little kids. But yeah, even still, you're putting on a performance. In some ways, you're trying to be entertaining. You're trying to, let the people around you see. You've got to be, just generally more expressive when you're working with kids. And so at the beginning, you're going to feel a little bit like a clown, and, even if a clown's sad, you still got to go out there and, honk your nose and, make some balloon animals for the kids. And, a lot of our job descriptions overlap, us and clowns. I never thought about that until I was writing the script, but I guess it's true. And the other thing is smile a lot. If your face doesn't hurt a little bit when you're done working with kids, you probably, haven't had a good time, but you also haven't put on a good show for the people around you. And so I would say smile a lot until your face hurts. Kaegan comes up to me all the time. He goes, my face hurts, man. And I go, it's killing me.
Yeah, I almost got it. I almost had it before you.
Sorry, that was terrible, but I couldn't resist. Okay. All right. So last point. And the last thing really on this is that sound excited. Like I said, you'll notice that when I talk like this, but when I see a 3-year-old, I'm like, hey, that was so good. And part of that I learned that from Joe Cronin. He sounds like a psychopath sometimes. But your inflection goes up, your voice goes to a higher octave, and you it's like, hey, great job, high five. It's like all of that is really good, and all of those things that have been mentioned are ways that you can kind of stop looking like you don't care about this. And so even if you do care about it, you need to work a little bit harder to show it, because like I said, nobody likes anybody who's mean mugging them. So likewise, body language, aside from your tone last week and your facial expression, your body language plays a big part in how you're perceived by those around you. So what are the problems that you've seen with people's body language, or maybe that you've been told with your own, and how can those things be corrected?
So I lean on everything. I'm a cripple, so I lean on everything. But it makes me look incredibly lazy and uninterested. If you see your kid's coach just leaning on a bar while all the kids are working, that's not something the parents are going to like. Therefore, it's not something you should like.
Arron, you kind of commented on something that I'm going to mention here, but if you are not engaged, genuinely engaged, your body language can reflect that. If I'm just sitting here and I'm staring off into space and there's no light in my eyes, people can tell. Typically if you're engaged in something, you tend to lean a little bit farther forward. You tend to make more eye contact with whatever it is that you're looking at. And part of that can come with, with inexperienced coaches, maybe you don't know what to look for. Maybe I just wrote an entire chalkboard worth of one physics problem and you're just totally lost and have no idea where to start. I'm saying, what's wrong with this? And I'm just a deer in the headlights and have no idea. That can make you appear uninterested. Maybe it's not that you're uninterested, it's just that you don't know what to start tackling. And, that can come with experience that you overcome that. So one, make sure that you're engaged, genuinely, actively engaged, and learn what to look for. If you're working with students and you're trying to fix things, you have to know what to look for so that way you know how to engage. Okay. Another thing is, ask yourself if you have a problem with looking or being uninterested. Ask yourself, do you genuinely enjoy what you're doing? Because you have to enjoy this. As Mr. Cronin once said, we can't teach you to love kids. So you need to ask yourself, do you enjoy working with kids, teens, or whatever age group that you're working with? Do I enjoy this? And if not, maybe there's a different position that you'll enjoy more, or maybe there's something different that you could do that you enjoy more. Either way, you just need to assess that and work on ways to fix it.
It's funny, you were talking about leaning forward, being engaged, and my mind immediately goes to that meme where it's like the guy slumping over in the chair playing a video game, and then it shows him sit up, and it's like it just got real. So and I think Kaegan really hit on part of what I want to talk about, and that is, what can you do to look to be negatively perceived by the people around you? Number one is sitting down while coaching. I've been to a lot of gyms. I've seen a lot of coaches that just sit down next to whatever apparatus their kids are on, and it's like you could not look less engaged if you were trying. Why don't you just lay down in the middle of the floor and be like,
bro, just have a nap while you're there.
Yes, right. It's like that. That's awful. That's an awful way to coach. And if people are coaching like that in your gym, the kids are probably not going to stay in the gym very long. It's just there is no worse way to communicate I don't care about this than to just sit down and hang out. That's not what you're being paid to do. You're on the clock in. Let's go. We have a rule in our gym, and it happened long before me. It happened long before I was in charge here. Mr. Cronin had a rule, and so I just adopted it because I think it's a good rule. And that rule is, if Mr. Cronin then, or me, or Coach Arron aren't sitting down, then you aren't sitting down either. And so it's like any of the coaches, any of the kids, it's like, we're not in here that long for our team kids, they're here for 2 hours, 2 hours 3 times a week, which isn't that long by gymnastic standards, but anybody else is only here an hour. It's like, get to work unless you need some water or something. If you're really about to pass out, maybe we'll let you go sit down. But as a coach, it's like, get up, show that you're engaged. And so if I'm not sitting, you shouldn't be either. And I think that that's a really good way to look at it. If you're in charge of a program, it's like, if I can stand for 2 hours, I'm a fat old man, then all of these athletes and all of these teenagers who work for me should be able to stand for 2 hours.
I'm crippled. Not just mentally.
So the other thing, aside from sitting down, and Kaegan mentioned this as well, is leaning up against stuff. Like, I mean, it's the same thing. You're leaning up against, whatever. You're leaning up against walls, bars, beams, small children. It doesn't matter what you're leaning up against. You look disinterested. Your body language says that you could not care less about the things that are going on, and I'm just waiting for that clock to hit the time that it's supposed to hit for me to go home. And, all of that just communicates just a ton of disinterest. And so, I think the way that you can fix that is, I tell our coaches all the time, don't be a bump on a log. You're just standing there. You're just soaking up space. That's all that's happening. And so why get out, move around a little bit, walk. When you talk with your hands a little bit. Do, look, engage, look people in the eye when you're trying to talk to them, all of that kind of stuff. Learn to express yourself through the movement that you have, and I think that will really help you out. And the other thing is give high fives all the time. high fives all the time, and so smile all the time, give high fives all the time. And if you can do that, you look super engaged. And if you're looking as this person who prompted this, if you're asking about how can I get noticed if I'm in a gym and I want to move up and coach higher level, it's like that looks great, because as a person who runs the gym, you're just looking out and you're looking for little things that make a difference, because somebody's got to work with the higher level kids, and there might be a spot open for you, and you never know. And so if I'm looking out there, I'm looking for little things, body language, who wants to be here, the things that they say. It's like, do you really want to be here? Do you want to help progress this program? Because those people are invaluable to you as a gym owner. And if you can be that person, then the sky's the limit. You may be the head coach one day. So keep doing those things, and then also learn what you're talking about. It's not all just expression. So and then question 3, the last one this evening is, are there any other presentation tips that you may have for people, Kaegan?
So there are 2 main things that I would worry about. The first one is being clean. Nobody wants your terrible smelling self working with their children. And I am 100% certain that the children do not enjoy it either. The second thing is look clean, because you can be clean all day long, and then you get to work and you're like, oh no, I look like Arron. That is something that you never want.
So in regards to what Arron was saying earlier, totally stole one of my tips. Thanks, Arron. But without actively trying, it's actually incredibly difficult to look unhappy and unengaged while giving a genuine high five. So definitely it builds camaraderie, builds connection with, your kids or whoever it is that you're teaching at the time. Beyond that, smile goes a long way. I think you said that also earlier, but it's true. A smile goes a long way, and I don't know about you guys, but I have fun teaching these kids. I love to see them excel every time they land a new trick. That's amazing. I enjoy that. I love that. I love seeing them progress. It's exciting for me, and I think it should be exciting for any coach. And I think if it's not, maybe you should reevaluate your job. But if stuff like that doesn't excite you, you can try to act, you can try to fake it. That's going to burn your energy, I think. I think it's really going to burn you up to try and do that, because whereas it invigorates me, I think it will drain someone that doesn't genuinely enjoy it. So I think the true, I guess, tip is have fun with what you're doing. Enjoy it.
So, presentation tips. Wear a backwards hat. That's number one. No, I'm kidding. Understand that these changes are going to feel weird at first. If you're not naturally expressive, and most people are not, then it's going to feel weird, but it will be way better than having people decide in their head all sorts of terrible things about you. Because it's like, I mean, the amount that people project and that they get... I can't do that. I mean, I was with it until we had the thrusting. I was going to ignore it, but then we had... Oh, man, okay. Yeah, and so just know that it will be weird at first, but the more that you do it, the more it becomes natural. And so try to take baby steps out of your comfort zone, and, and communication of all types will be easier for you. And so if you can do those things, you can get past the initial feeling super self-conscious about doing it, and just in little ways, and then find a way that feels natural for you, you'll have it made. Okay, so we're going to do the randomly strong opinion of the day, and today we're going to amend it a little bit. We're going to do the top 3 cereals.
My number 3 favorite cereal is Honey Nut Cheerios. I know they're basic, but they have a great flavor and a great texture. And most importantly, they don't get soggy that fast. There's so many cereals that are notorious for getting too soggy too fast. But Honey Nut Cheerios doesn't. My number 2 favorite cereal has to be Crafton Crunch. Now,
Crafton Crunch.
Captain Crunch. Now, this has very similar problems to a lot of cereals. It gets soggy very fast. But it tastes amazing. Now, even though it tastes amazing, if you eat it too early, you don't have a mouth anymore. They made one of the best cereals either too soggy or destroy your mouth.
I agree. The roof of my mouth will be sore afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll cut you, bro.
Yeah. No, it's so aggressive, but it tastes so good. And my number 1 all-time favorite is like the soggiest cereal ever. And I just realized that because I'm great. I'm still crying. My number 1 favorite cereal is Fruity Pebbles for a multitude of reasons. 1, the flavor is some of the best you'll find. It's probably the fakest flavor, but it is amazing and I love it. Second thing, the crunch. Like it's great. It makes a great sound. It makes your brain itch. I love it.
Okay, so top 3. Number 3, Fruity Pebbles. Bro, it's like a nostalgia hit to my childhood. I love Fruity Pebbles. It does get soggy rather quickly. True, and it's not as good once it does, so I tend to small doses, eat it fast. Anyways, after that, anyone remember Waffle Crisp?
Bro. Waffle Crisp with the like crazy anamorphic, yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. It was definitely like a bowl of sugar. It's not healthy. I'm not saying it's healthy. I'm saying it was delicious.
Listen, this was not most healthy cereal.
Yeah.
Is this a 90s kid thing? Did I miss out?
Yes, Waffle Crisp was
out on Waffle Crisp.
I got to tell you, the 90s is the greatest time that has ever existed on Earth. / 2000, early 2000s.
Okay. But number 1, so I'm not saying this is a healthy cereal, but it is healthier, and I still love it. Honey Bunches of Oats with almonds. I don't know. I love this cereal. It's got a nice bit of crunch to it, good flavors. I can munch on the oats forever after each bite, and I'm still happy doing that. And the flavor lingers in the milk a little bit, which makes it sweeter, but not wildly sweet like Fruity Pebbles. So that's why it makes my top slot there. Love it.
I feel like we got we just saw Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We saw feral child Tracy, and then we saw, hey, yes, I would like some Honey Bunches of Oats.
We'll see. Okay, so college Tracy, also high school Tracy, was very poor, but bro, the so it wasn't called Honey Bunches of Oats, but it was the knockoff value, Great Value brand version of that. I could get a massive bag for $2 and eat breakfast for days, and college Tracy especially needed that.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Sometimes.
All right.
Ramen for dinner.
So I think this is the first time ever that we have had one thing in the randomly strong opinion make all of our lists. I'm right about that, right? I don't think that we've ever had, like, you and I have agreed a couple times. Yeah, but I don't think that we have ever had something. And so, hang on, let me get to this. So number 3 is something that y'all never mentioned, and that is Apple Jacks. I enjoyed Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks was awesome, but the best era of Apple Jacks was definitely when they had the Jamaican cinnamon stick. He got
Yalman.
Yalman. He got canceled super hard. But yeah, the Jamaican cinnamon stick, that's my homie right there. Okay, number 2 is something I'm surprised that neither of y'all said. Waffle Crisp was awesome. I forgot about that one. But number 2 is kind of in the same vein, a Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It can be a little bit with the mouth assaulting, like y'all were talking about. But man, cinnamon is sweet. It's got a little bit of cinnamon stuff in it too. It's like, it is fantastic.
It did make some good milk.
It does. It does.
And number 1, the thing that we all agree on, Fruity Pebbles. Fruity Pebbles is number 1 for a lot of reasons. Number 1, the Flintstones. I was a huge Dino homer growing up. And yeah, so I like the Flintstones. That was a great marketing ploy that they is it Kellogg? No, it's not Kellogg. It's the other one. Post. There you go. Post is the one that makes Fruity Pebbles. That was a great marketing campaign, really, before cartoon ad spokespersons were a thing, the spokespeople. But yeah, so it is. Each little pebble is so nice and wafery. It's like the perfect thickness. And now I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch because it is a little bit thicker, a lot of them, but I like the Fruity Pebbles because they're kind of wafery, and it's very nice. I don't know anything about the milk because you can get rid of your soggy problem, the problem of your cereal being soggy, by just having like
by being wrong.
Just
having
a cup, just having a nice cup, or maybe it's a bowl, depending on what your situation is, and eating the cereal out of that, eating your Fruity Pebbles, and then just as you eat your Fruity Pebbles, you take a nice drink of milk, and you don't have to worry about it getting soggy until it's already in your stomach.
My mom does that with sauce packets.
With sauce packets.
Yeah, so she'll like take a bite of her burger, and then well, no, with the sauce packet, she'll cut the corner open and then take a little bit of the sauce in her mouth and then chew.
Okay, so listen, that's a bridge too far for me. I don't know. I don't feel it.
Jessica's
nice Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, I'm all in on Fruity Pebbles. Fruity Pebbles forever. If I have a last meal, that might be Fruity Pebbles. But yeah, the perfect cereal. So there you go. If you're enjoying this podcast, please remember to like, subscribe, argue with Kaegan. Kaegan likes to argue. But yeah, argue with Kaegan on TikTok. It'll be great. So we have an email.
AskCOC@yahoo.com.
AskCOC@yahoo.com. Fantastic. So that'll do it for us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please stay tuned for the world's largest stapler.
And have a flipping great day.
And don't forget to set. Take care.